It's time for Measure Twice.
Hello, welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You could visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. So it's a glorious morning. It's now
glorious.
Yes, we're in a little different studio today. So if we sound extra velvety, it's because we have a giant big screen TV looming over us.
Yeah,
feels bigger, definitely brighter.
It is brighter in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chairs look more comfy.
Oh, they're so much better.
They're better.
This has been the A suite this whole time. We didn't know. Geez, see the difference? Like a little change up. That's what we're all about, though. In here, it's like a little change up.
Yeah,
for your situation. We talked about lighting before, and lighting. After the lighting show, I was kind of bombarded with like lighting questions.
Yeah.
I think what I kept getting asked was about lamps.
Lamps?
Lamps.
Really?
And I'm not saying it's like one person. It's like
the least technical lighting option.
It is.
You plug it into an outlet.
And you put in a bulb.
But they're not really around. They're...
Yeah, they are.
Table lamps?
Yeah.
What do you mean they're not around?
I mean, they exist, but you don't... It's not like... It's one of the things that was mentioned that went away kind of when LED lighting went away. All the overhead lighting.
No, they've never gone away. You need lamps. They're task lighting.
Sure. What about like in a living room?
You need lamps.
Yeah. What if you're reading something?
You don't really...
that's the thing. People don't read anymore.
That's what it is. Like, you don't need it.
It's got nothing to do with the lighting.
Your phone is backlit.
Yeah,
Joel.
Exactly.
Rarely do I put recessed lighting in a living room.
Rarely.
Almost never.
You got in a fight the last time somebody asked for it.
Yeah,
typically...
He's a shark, and that was a jet asking for that.
You don't typically put recessed in a living room.
Why not?
It's harsh. You use lamps.
Right. So where do you plug them in? There's
outlets.
Yeah. But what if your outlet's like way over there?
Run some new ones.
Called an extension cord. Or maybe you're putting in a floor outlet if your room's large enough.
Floor outlets are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trouble with floor outlets is the person who's the architect who's designing the place doesn't always think about like they just say you're going to face this way, or you know what I mean? Like
they're just designing spaces.
Yeah. And sometimes
they're not thinking all the time about function.
Yeah. And how do you not have like wire all over the place? You throw a carpet over it? I mean, is that what you do?
What, throw a carpet in?
Yeah, throw a carpet over your wiring.
Yeah.
Your extension.
Or we cut a hole in the rug and run it through.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like, what do you mean you cut a hole in the carpet?
Yeah. In an area.
That's what he means.
In a rug.
But underneath the rug.
The outlet, if you have a floor outlet that's underneath
you cut
your
a
rug,
hole.
you cut a hole.
I was thinking wire. I was like, you're not going to have like a 6-foot long cut in the.
No.
Yeah, you're talking
floor
about cut
outlets.
the square out of the foot.
Or just you cut a split and then run it through.
Yeah, I get that. I meant like even your floor outlet, you're still going to have something go from and to it, and those wires can be unsightly. Is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But that's.
So your questions from people were table lamps? We don't even have table lamps anymore.
Exactly.
That's so weird. It's weird.
They don't have them. And I'm trying to. The people that are asking me, it's not like they have bad houses. I mean, they're in modern houses.
So what are they using instead?
I think now that I think about it, I think they have recessed lighting.
That's not good task lighting.
That's not. It's not task lighting at all. Is it? It's like stadium lighting. Yeah.
And it's harsh. It can be harsh.
Right. It's not what we were going to talk about today, but it was just Just came up because I got all kinds of questions from, 11 different people. Like it wasn't just one person hammering me. I was like, oh, where did lamps go? And I was like, I don't think they went anywhere.
Yeah.
They have to go on your end tables.
Do they have to match?
No.
They have to coordinate.
That's a good word. They have to coordinate?
Yeah.
What about height? They have to be the same size?
Depends. Not necessarily, but what I don't like is if you're using two different size, you have to watch your table height and your lamp height, so you don't get this.
The table should be the same height?
Sometimes they're not.
Well, sometimes they can't be because you might have a piece of furniture that's set up a little different, and you don't want to have to
So
reach
if
up
the tables are not the same height, then I try to even it out with the lamp.
to make the eye line, like the
so your
overall
sight
eye line.
is the same. So you can get a high-low on, because that looks off visually.
Like the high-low at the top.
Right, from the top of the shade.
You can have a shorter end table if your lamp makes up for the height.
Correct.
Or you can have a smaller lamp if the end table's
higher. Yep.
Gotcha. Just so when you walk in the room, that's what you're looking
Yeah,
at.
otherwise you're going to see this uneven line.
Well, now that we've taken care of that, Joel, how do you feel about natural wood?
Love it.
Natural wood, what?
Well, that's the thing, right? So flooring is natural generally.
Hardwood?
Hardwood, natural hardwood.
Right. But staining is still a thing, right? I mean, but that's not natural to me. Like if you're staining it, that's not natural, right?
No,
you're staining
you're
it.
staining natural wood.
Staining natural wood.
Still natural wood. It just has a different stain color to it.
Right. Okay. So, in my mind,
So you're thinking natural color
yeah. But
or natural finish?
we could probably start there because I didn't really thought about the fact that you're using real wood, because in my mind I'm like, why aren't you? I mean,
But why do you stain it?
no. Why wouldn't you use real wood?
But what you do use real wood in a lot of cases, but you stain it.
Right. Exactly. So when I thought natural wood, I was thinking like using like the look. I wasn't necessarily thinking about like not using natural wood to build something. Mm-hmm. That's where I was thinking. Like when you see cabinets, aren't they made out of wood?
Sometimes.
What else is there to make them out of?
Depends on the quality of
Yeah,
cabinet.
that's right. They have MDF or they have a.
MDF, and then there's like this press board.
Yep.
That is
I wouldn't recommend it.
no.
MDF. We've talked about that before, but I don't know what it stands for.
And usually it's white. It's,
Medium density fiber board.
Yep.
So it's just pulp glued
Pulp.
together. That's the super
Pressed.
heavy.
But
Yeah,
not-
it's good for that's good for like on paint grades on paint grade stuff as long as the stiles and rails of your doors are actual wood. If your panel's an MDF in the door, that works really nice because MDF doesn't move
like real wood.
like
does.
real wood.
Like natural wood.
Okay, so let's break. When you say panel, what do you mean by the panel? Well, we're talking about a door, or we're talking about
On a door.
On a door.
On a
okay.
door.
I was thinking cabinet, and I was like, "What? Where's the?"
Well, that's the thing. Like you got to be careful, and you've got to ask questions, especially if you're not getting custom built cabinetry. What is the material that's being used for the side panels, for the doors? Because there are some companies that will make the doors completely out of MDF.
Yep.
And that's no bueno.
Why is that?
I've seen them melt and warp over ranges and stuff.
Melt?
Mm-hmm.
Because was the house on fire, Chris?
No, the heat, just the heat, because it's not a.
Well, they don't. They'll sag.
Yep.
They just don't have it does not have the structural value that wood has.
So the door will end up wanting to go towards the earth,
Yeah.
right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like eventually
Gravity.
Yeah.
Eventually gravity wins over the
No,
fibers.
it paints really nicely. So if it's the panel, and since it doesn't move near as much as wood, it works great for the like on a custom built door panel. It's a 5-piece panel typically, or a 5-piece door where you have stiles and rails, and that's your frame for the door, and then the panel's what goes in the middle, whether it's a flat or a raised panel.
They'll use different
You can use MDF for that, and it works really well.
because the frame of the door is
wood.
keeping the integrity of the door,
Yes.
and then the middle, and so that's not necessarily natural wood. Is what you're saying? That's,
Right.
That's
On the paint grade, yeah.
some sort of fiber, and the paint grade means that it's paintable. Like you're
It's
going to paint it.
We just say, yeah, it's paint, so that's paint grade.
Gotcha. Okay. I think we got it now. Okay, when we come back, let's talk about the cabinet version of that when we come back. This is Measure 20. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. You're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk, not Two's Talk. News Talk. Michiana's News Talk, 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops. With the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We had a Dino sighting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dino's going to be coming in. It's up to us when he comes in, though.
Yeah.
He's like, you tell me. Which I don't know, When's good?
And anytime, right?
I can feel the listeners saying, bring him in now. Go find him.
Because he deals in natural wood.
He really does. This is a nice kicker. Maybe we can have him in next show. I don't know. We'll see what the fates decide. But we are talking about natural wood. And I was only thinking of the aesthetic of natural wood. I was not thinking of the builder side of natural wood. But it turns out there are applications where natural wood is not used. And that was not that I'm not surprised. I mean, the box story situation, you're going to get some non-natural wood. But we talked about doors and door panels, right? So the frame of the door is wood, but then the middle can be, what is that?
MDF.
MDF, which stands for something.
Medium density fiberboard.
He showing off.
Yep.
Okay, so cabinets, do they have the same thing, though? Like, will the door be wood, but the rest not be wood, or?
Well, you got to be careful because those are the questions you need to ask. Are the boxes plywood? Are the faces wood?
Right.
Because sometimes they're not.
And for the same reason, right? You said that that the MDF moves, or wait,
Does not move like wood. It does. It's more stable. It's very heavy. The particle board, typically what you'll see is particle board, but periodically you'll see MDF also. It doesn't screw together near as nice. Stuff will strip out.
Yeah, right.
And it just doesn't. Those products do not like wet areas.
Yeah, you only get one shot at being wet, right? And because then they swell,
Yeah.
right? Then they become,
Or deteriorate.
yeah, or just go away, right? Come apart. So they don't screw well. Anybody that's tried to put together a piece of Chinese furniture, I don't know how to put it, and spun a screw in there, like you had too much torque, and then that's it.
You're
it's
like, that
over.
was just a quarter wrist turn.
Yeah, you just get now you just have a hole that you cannot screw into because it's completely burned out. I mean, so the cabinet that has that as the box, not good for those reasons, right?
Exactly.
Is there an application where MDF is acceptable, like a door, like just like the doors? Is there an application where it's acceptable in the cabinet?
Not in my opinion.
No, probably because of
It's usually at that's a much lower price point cabinet. That's why it's used.
Yeah, you're getting what you pay for there.
right.
But you don't have the longevity with that.
Right.
Well, when we talk about a flipped house, generally I'm thinking you might see those
I've seen it in a lot of new construction.
in new construction.
And the thing of it is,
Really?
what like we generally are hard on our cabinetry, and even with the soft close stuff. So now we're not necessarily slamming doors and slamming, pushing your drawers shut really hard or whatever. But I mean, you toss pots and pans in. It's carrying a decent amount of weight. These things need to be able to hold up to that.
Is there a way you can identify whether you have that or not by looking at it?
Yeah. You'd have to. So on your overhead cabinets, you can look at the bottom edge and typically be able to tell if it's wood or if it's an MDF or if it's a particle board.
How can you tell?
You can tell if it's painted, it's harder to tell with MDF to wood. If it's the particle board, they usually have some sort of melamine strip on the bottom that covers.
Oh, because it can't get wet.
Right.
So they're protecting it from splash, I would think. Or nicks, right? Because it doesn't
Or they're trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Or they're just trying to hide it, right? Right. They're flat trying to hide it. That's another thing. But it also doesn't nick very well either. It doesn't, wood dents, that stuff tears.
Particle board chips and
Chips,
Yep.
yeah, it comes apart. Whereas if you bump wood, it compresses it doesn't.
MDF actually dents easier than wood does.
But what I'm saying is it craters. It's a more violent situation in MDF than wood holds up to the bumps and bruises. That right. And if you have those cabinets right now, they're all right till they're not. That's.
I'm not saying you just go out and change them out right away, but it's something that is mindful, especially if you're doing a remodel or a new build.
Well, you put a $20,000 piece of granite on top of.
You wouldn't. Typically.
You wouldn't because.
I don't know if it'd hold it.
It might break it. Right. Right. It might come apart.
Then you spent more on your granite than you did on your cabinets.
Is that supposed to be the other way around, right?
It should be.
Yeah. We need to have a show like that, appropriate price, percentages, when you, not appropriate, but how rules of thumb, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, you can love one thing so much that you pay a little bit more for it just because you want it, and it makes things out of whack. But we do have to have a show about that. But MDF as a cabinet in a kitchen, it works. It's functional, right? But
yeah,
it's just not the same quality as natural wood or wood in general, right? That's basically the bottom line there. Mm-hmm. And then if you are looking for wood cabinets, you have to ask the right questions. That's the other thing I was getting out of that. You should ask, right? I guess where I'm going is, if I have MDF cabinets, are the doors also MDF?
Typically.
Okay. So you don't have, generally that's all, if it's MDF, the whole thing's MDF.
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was getting confused with doors there. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. A second there? Huh? Well, only a quarter of the coffee in.
Yeah.
So we're not caught up yet. Okay. So that's where I was going with natural wood. I wasn't going there with natural wood. I was going with what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
Generally, MDF doesn't really look like wood either, though. You can kind of spot it, right?
Yeah.
It's usually primed for paint or it's white.
And it's super smooth.
Super smooth. Mm-hmm. Looks like plastic.
It has. Yeah, it feels doesn't feel natural.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if you have wood, no matter how much you sand wood, it still feels like wood.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sand it into a plastic finish, generally. Right? You can't lacquer it into a plastic. It still feels like wood.
Right. Which
Eventually.
is what you want.
Yeah, right. The other, I'm trying to think of the other app. You don't have, well, non-natural wood floors would be luxury vinyl,
Yep.
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And they're actually getting better at mimicking wood in that. But it's still like if you get down on your hands and
I mean, you
knees,
can
it doesn't
still
feel
tell.
like
So,
yeah.
For the most part, 90% of the time you can still tell.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You can, but like we talk about that a lot. There are applications where that's the better application for your situation. There's, based on what you're doing around it. I guess while we're at it then, are there unnatural wood building materials?
You mean like framing material?
Yeah. That's all
Yes.
wood. Steel.
Steel. So yeah, your metal 2x and stuff like that. But there's also, they make a composite.
Really?
Yeah.
For framing?
Yeah.
I bet that's
Sounds expensive.
yeah. But that would be
I don't trust it. I just don't see it having the structural value.
Yeah.
Is it like a 2x4?
Yeah, you can get dimensional lumber with it.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen that yet.
No. That's got to be kind of newish.
And we've talked about like our LVLs, things like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
And they're making
LVLs are laminate. What is it? What does that stand for?
veneer lumber,
Yes.
So
laminated veneer lumber.
the composite framing, can you nail it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've never used it. I stay away from it, but I see it.
I mean, it's only natural that it's coming, right? Because more and more, it's not wood material then. It's like fiberglass or.
It's a composite. I don't know what. I'm sure there's some wood in it. There's every composite has some wood
Fibers.
fibers in it.
Yeah.
You just
I
don't
would-
know the longevity yet.
Right.
What if
There's
it
no
gets
proof.
wet?
I don't know. Well, it's composite. I mean, you have composite decking, right? So
Well, that's where I was
That's
going to
true.
go. That
That's
was what I
true.
was going to go
Yeah, yeah,
next.
yeah.
Is do we have
And siding.
all right?
yeah.
Man, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the. Okay, when we come back, hopefully we'll get to the topic that I thought we were going to talk about. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. And who knows, you might hear Dino's voice in here in the near future. It's going to be cool.
Yep.
Talking about natural wood, kind of went and beat up cabinets that are made of pressboard. But I get it. If that's what you can, if that's what your budget dictates, that is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But then we talked a little bit about building material, and you said that there's composite now, dimensional lumber, which would be like 2x4s and that
Yeah.
you're thinking of. But it's so new, it's kind of you're not sure what its longevity is like.
Yeah.
Does it
There's-
twist?
I think
Does
there
it-
are other engineered products that are just are superior.
But composite decking,
Superior.
superior, right? Right? It's color, right, Chris?
Yep.
You can make it look like almost whatever you want.
Yep.
Right? And from a design standpoint, that's what you want. Different.
And really, a lot of them have started figuring out how to keep the composite cooler
Does it get hotter than
with the
wood?
design. Oh yeah.
It still retains heat.
Oh.
Sure.
You get
It absorbs and retains. But the properties of it are fantastic as far as maintenance and cleanability and longevity, and
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Right. How long would you say a composite deck is?
The lifespan.
Yeah.
With today's iteration, The decking itself, I don't know, 50.
I mean, a lot.
Years.
Okay, so
Long
just
time,
a lot.
yeah.
Because if you're looking at treated lumber decking, it's not 50 years.
No.
I mean, it's
Oh,
not a
gosh.
short amount of time, but I mean, it's not. It's like a
Much
10
shorter
years,
than
right?
composite.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
composite. It'll be like, archaeologists.
and that's
will
why
be
you have to
uncovering that.
take more care with your framing, because you're more likely for the framing to rot out from under your deck, from your composite deck, than
Right.
your composite deck to.
It's
go
probably
bad.
going to outlive the posts, is what you're saying.
It very likely can, unless you treat them appropriately.
So, what do you mean by that? Actually,
So even ground contact lumber that's treated is, if it's depending on the application, most applications it's going to rot at some point, especially if you pour concrete around them or setting on. Typically, you want it setting on concrete, like a footer. Well, that concrete and wood don't play really great together, so you have to
Really?
protect it. You have to protect it.
I thought if you encased a piece of wood in cement, it would last forever.
No, rot.
Really, I didn't know that.
But I've never thought about it.
Didn't you think that it would be like, oh, it's hermetically sealed? That's what I thought.
And the thing is like, especially outside and in our climate, things move so much.
Right.
There's water's going to get in there.
Well, doesn't concrete, does it absorb water? Is it?
It's not. Yeah, it's not. Concrete's porous.
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
they both absorb water.
Yeah.
Right? The wood and the concrete.
It does. So the concrete does not absorb water. It drains water, but water can get into it. It's not
Yeah.
impervious.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Trying to say.
So that will cause issues there. But so like we wrap ours with typically with Grace.
Grace.
They say a prayer over it.
Yes, I was going to say, we
Grace
wrap it with grace.
That's right. We bless it.
and pageantry.
Yes.
He wears a tiara, a sash, and he's
I
like,
thought maybe they were incensing. I don't know.
Yeah.
grace the product, not the verb or adjective or whatever.
Yeah.
Joel's like, this isn't funny.
I know you could tell he's
I know,
not
he's
like,
like, "No,
he's not
stop
laughing. He's
it,
serious.
okay."
Doggone it.
I'm evangelical here, fellas. So
I'm sorry. No,
So what you're saying is you wrap it in a product to help stave
it
off.
protects it. Grace is a ice and water shield.
Right. Like
Typically used on roofs,
I
but
was
we
just
use
gonna
it for we use it for posts too, because that won't let water in.
Chris is going to be yucking it up with the priest on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
We talked about grace.
well, I'm just thinking his reaction to the whole thing. He's just sitting there like,
I was not. I mean, it doesn't make me upset at all. It's funny, but my religious humor is just different.
So
It's okay. The Lord loves us all.
why not use composite posts?
Structural,
integrity
yeah.
Oh, they're not
over long term.
Gotcha. Is that okay?
Because again, a composite doesn't mean it's completely, because it's got wood fibers in it.
Yeah.
So it's not completely,
I see.
it's not like plastic.
Right. Okay.
You can get PVC.
Oh, really? Framing material?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, but I know that there's PVC posts, there's PVC decking.
Is there really? Mm-hmm. Huh.
That must be slippery.
No, I mean it
Well-
it oftentimes looks exactly like your composite.
Really? Mm-hmm. PVC, that's one of, look, I'm not a huge environmentalist, but PVC, I mean, let's just keep it to a minimum.
Yeah.
Let's just use it where we need it
Yeah.
and then nowhere else.
Yeah, because that wouldn't go anywhere. It's not going to deteriorate. I wouldn't think it would deteriorate.
Yeah,
No.
the half-life on that is very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, like eternity.
Yeah. Cockroaches and
Yeah. And PVC.
PVC. That's all that's going to be left there. Yeah. Isn't PVC one of the few things like woodchucks don't chew it? Like even animals are like, no, I'm not going to chew on that.
You just sold a bunch of PVC right there.
That's not what I mean. And not in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't mean in a good way. It's just like, yeah, I want to get my BPs through my feet now.
Yeah.
I'd like to walk on my,
Yeah.
It's just it's
Now
for
it's not in the groundwater because it seeps in from the pin.
Yeah.
yeah. PVC is one of those. It's like wow. It is it's like man-made bamboo.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it reminds me of. You can make punji sticks if you'd like out of them, and whatever. But a PVC deck, that blows my mind. But composite kind of feels warm. I mean, feels more pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're like around it. I've never seen PVC decking.
I haven't
You
either.
may have.
You may not know it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But obviously outside applications for like not natural wood, I can totally see that. I mean, I'm waiting. Like, I think I don't know what my shed's made out of, but it's not wood. It's
MDF.
Yeah. It's MDF panels.
swollen. It's got band-aids
Twice the
on
size it used to be.
It's just, these walls are thick. That's hilarious.
Don't slam the door.
Yeah.
You can't even slam it because it doesn't shut it.
There you go.
Just stays open. But yeah, like, so that was the other obvious application. Then you had mentioned off air siding, which I hadn't thought of. The composite siding,
Oh, yeah.
right? That's kind of
It's not
like-
natural wood, though.
right. But you have natural wood siding,
Yes, you do.
and are you? is
Wes.
any-
I'm not sure why I thought I was mentioning Wes. Anyways, he gets a shout out on air.
I was going to say Wes.
My Uncle Wes.
Graber? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
Chris. Chris knows all about the wood siding.
I do.
You do?
No, I
'Cause
don't.
You have.
I did. What?
You have wood siding.
Oh, yes, I do.
Is anybody putting wood siding up?
Not if they're smart. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that.
Board and batten. Isn't that all wood?
Typically, like if we do that, well, you can get that in a vinyl siding, but
You can also get it in composite.
or the engineered.
Yep.
Engineered.
We've talked about like engineered as like LP smart siding stuff.
Okay.
where it's-
Oh, yeah,
It
right.
looks like wood,
Right.
but it's
Yep. But it's not.
Yeah.
And it's cedar. I've seen, cedar shake, natural cedar shake I've seen used.
Yeah.
I love cedar shake.
Real
It's-
or
Real.
we've done that a couple of times, and it's just time consuming. Mm-hmm. It's time consuming,
Right.
especially in your corners, making things fit well.
well, you got to make sure you have the right
Needs to
carpenter.
be nice and tight.
That's
Yeah.
for sure, because
Oh yeah, if it's not done well, oof.
then it's just going to come off. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going.
And
to
if you leave
fall
it natural and seal it, it's still, even though it turns quickly.
Yeah.
Even though you think you sealed it, it still goes gray.
But gray is sometimes part of the look, right?
it's the patina. Yeah.
Right, but not if that's
Not everybody wants that.
Yeah, I was going to say not everybody
Yeah.
wants that look. They want to keep it the natural.
I love the silver, but
They get
That it gets-
surprised,
It's hard to keep it. It's hard to keep the natural tone, even if you seal it.
right?
oh yeah,
Right. So back to board and batten, because if you're watching TV, like Home Improvement TV, board and batten's like the new shit.
That's because it's the modern farmish. But
it will date itself.
yeah, at some point
it really will, because it's
you'll see a lot of it too in cedar.
really. All right, when we come back, because we're running out of time, when we come back, we'll wrap it up with natural wood. This is Measured
But
Twice.
it's more.
Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You could visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. Natural wood's the topic. We talked about all kinds of applications for natural wood.
I thought we talked about application for synthetics.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, we've pretty much talked about the opposite, right? And we were just talking about board and batten, how that also can be, natural or unnatural. But then you said there's cedar,
Cedar siding.
board, and batten.
Yeah.
There's cedar shake. There's cedar board and batten.
Yeah.
The lap.
The lap siding and cedar.
See, I've just never seen. Just because I've never seen it doesn't mean
You may have and just not known it.
because
Right.
somebody would paint it.
Yeah.
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 My old mailbox post was made out of cedar in my old house when they built it, because it's more what do I want to say? It lasts longer than
Resistant.
It's resistant to moisture.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Is redwood the same? I get confused whether redwood and cedar are like the same.
They're not the same, but it's similar.
I don't think you can get redwood anymore.
Thank
I
God.
think it's protected.
Yeah. I know that's one of those that oof.
But you'll see
We need those trees, man.
Yeah.
They just take too long to grow. You can't
Right.
you can't replace a redwood.
Yeah.
Although when one falls down, I guess you can go get it. I'm sure there's some
Maybe.
creature that lives in it that
They might not let you take it.
Yeah.
yeah. The speaking of which, a great trip. You ever go to the Petrified Forest? You ever been there, Chris?
Nope.
Was that Black Hills?
I think there's some in the Black Hills. Mainly, though, it's like from New Mexico to, let's say, the California basin.
That's protected.
They don't let you leave with anything.
No,
Matter of
I
fact, they'll like shake you down.
Yeah.
In there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is bizarre though, because you look like you're in a fallen timber forest, and
You are.
they're rocks. You are. It's just a billion years old or whatever. It's like, but they're rocks. They are legitimate rocks. You want to take one so bad when you're in there. You want to shoplift that place, but you can't. It's not. But it's really
They got
amazing.
the TSA there, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Making sure you're not keystering anything.
I think it. Okay. But it is kind of neat. If you Google it, they really do. It's like, I think it's a pretty penny to sell that stuff. Like, I think you
Oh, yeah.
like sell it. But what's the difference between redwood then? Because you always see redwood furniture, and I'm always like,
Not anymore. Not for
Yeah, you
Back in
can't,
the day.
you
Was that
can't
an
get
80s
it.
thing?
Yeah, you can't
60s,
get that anymore.
70s. Well,
the redwood Adirondack chairs.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
everybody
it
I knew
was.
had them.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that in
decades.
years.
Yeah.
Right. Well, good. The redwood, I think, is served its time. Can you imagine back in the day chopping one of those things down?
No.
That's like a 2-week saw.
I think it's a shame to cut one of those down.
yeah. It's like cutting down a cathedral to me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But then there's what's the other one? There's cedar, and then what's the other cedar-like tree that I cannot think of?
Cypress.
Cypress,
There's
spruce.
no.
You don't see a lot of spruce stuff.
Pine siding.
That's pine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. There's plenty of that.
There's lots
Spruce?
of pine.
Really? I just figured they were all decorative.
Only once a year.
That's funny. That's the truth. I guess we got to have we're not out of time. We have time, but we could have a whole show then on the look of natural wood.
Oh yeah.
We talk about natural wood though, it's got two purposes. It looks great, and it's usually what you want to build out of. Like that's just generally
Natural wood?
I mean, real wood. Natural wood to me was like a look.
Color?
A look.
Yeah.
A look. Oh.
Yeah.
So you mean natural wood is whatever you use wood for? Furniture,
Plain English,
flooring.
Right. But if we could touch on the design side or the look side of it, you have lots of options. It's not like natural wood. One of my wife's friends was like, "Well, natural wood, you don't have a lot of options." And I'm like,
No. That's
No,
not true at all.
no,
I
it's
mean, we
not
talk
true.
about that all the time. Like, depending on the cut of the wood, the graining's going to look completely different.
right,
All the different variations of wood and the colors that come from those.
right,
Yes, not stamped.
exactly. And I think in her mind, it was like everything was pine or something, or oak,
Yeah.
like one wood. It's like, no, you can still have one wood, and like Joel said, you cut it differently and it looks different.
Yeah. Are you talking about for siding or just in general?
No, in general.
Okay.
Like
I was going to
you-
say, because I don't think I've seen oak siding.
You haven't seen what?
Oak siding.
There's no oak siding. Right.
I don't think I.
Not since 1810.
I don't think they would have used oak because it's harder to split and cut like that.
Yeah.
It's a harder wood.
Yeah,
right.
That's why pine is so
pine and poplar.
Yeah, those are the easiest
and very plentiful.
Yes.
But for like what we're really talking about, like furniture, cabinets, shelving, that look, that natural wood look.
Mm-hmm.
I think also some people think that, well, I'm not in a log cabin.
Yeah.
So I don't know about natural wood,
Why not? And not everything's knotty pine,
Right.
That's the thing.
I mean, especially for like, if you're doing solid wood floors, I mean, there's beautiful walnut floors.
Yeah.
God, they're so gorgeous.
I think more like the furniture.
Cherry.
In the research that I was doing for this, what I was going to spend 4 segments talking about, we didn't. I found some really beautiful, natural wood furniture. Stickley has like that, right? Like
You can do natural.
Natural.
You can do a natural. There's no stain on it if you want.
Just a clear coat.
Just a clear coat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's easy to find beautiful, natural looking.
What's real popular right now too is like Live Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just basically natural.
Right. Well, Live Edge to me isn't that a little rustic?
It can be, it has a rustic feel, but you can dress it up.
Yeah, in modern interiors.
You can make it contemporary.
Right. Beautiful dining tables. And
I was following a guy on YouTube that makes the Live Edge, and then he fills
with
resin.
Well, he was filling with molten copper.
Oh, that's cool.
It was making like a river, or like if it has taking the vein out of the middle.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do just copper. He does whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, you should.
That is cool. I mean,
that
with the copper, that'd be really
awesome.
Yeah, and then I looked at his shop, and wow, that's super high end, like super.
Yeah, when you go to High Point, when they do the furniture market, you see all that type of thing. It's fascinating.
And the work is pretty neat. When you put a good finish on that, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool and not really rustic looking. Like,
no.
This isn't like log cabin-y.
No, it's not.
Thanks for listening so much. This is Measure Twice.
Podcasts by Federated Media.